Once upon a time, it was a great thing to have talent. It is almost inevitable that your talent absolutely means nothing. You see, talent was all you needed at one given time before man put his spell on a thing called entertainment. Nowadays, it's a bit demonic. Well, the word entertainment itself is demonic. Let me explain this marriage that is proposed to you. But don't think it's about a woman. It's about a soul for sale. Yes, that's right. Because your soul is married to the game. The game is the music business, entertainment, sports, whatever. See, they're going to shake your hand. But what you don't understand is you're being welcomed to fame and lies. And there's always a guy in a nice suit to come around as clean shaved and tell you the do's and don'ts just to see where your head's at. And he's going to advise you of a letter that will be arriving, but he probably want to hand it to you because it's personal. Why is it personal? Because the letter is going to be an opportunity for you, but it's not any kind of letter or contract. It's a contract of blood offering. That's right. They want you to sign your name in blood because you have been chosen by the brotherhood. And without hesitation, you sign. And you're so ecstatic. Your name is all over MTV, BET. You're excited. But you're not done. Because see, after that, they're going to invite you to the lodge. And during the lodge presentation, they're going to tell you the do's and don'ts. They're going to tell you to keep your mouth shut. And if you should adhere to this and tell anyone the secrets, your tongue could be removed, your eyes could be gouged, or your neck could be slit. So, what do? You leave out of that with a bonus check. But to remind you, as you walking out the door, beware, all ye who enters.
Put your hands together.
With the tongues of men and of angels, and I have no charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have faith so that I could remove mountains and have no charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profits me nothing. When I was a child, I spent as a child. I understood as a child and thought as a child. But when I became a man, I threw away childish things. For now we see through a glass, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in my heart. But then, sure I know, even so also I am known. And now I derive faith, hope, charity, these three. But the lens of all these is charity. In the name of the Father, and Son, and the Holy Angels, Yahweh. Have you ever wondered why they have tape over the mouth when you see an ad or a magazine? Well, they're explaining to the person who's looking, hush, never tell. Now, most people in the real world will never understand this. The red and blue eyes also go back to the satanic world of Satanism. We're not making these things up, we're just bringing them out. You see ads like this all the time with the one eye, and then you have females to put the hair in the eye, starting with Aaliyah. Well, they're explaining about the all-seeing eye. Goes back to Egyptology, gods, and Osiris's and Kabbalahs. You have no idea what you're doing, but you're mimicking something very satanic and evil. I don't know how many times when I was coming up I saw a finger over the lips. I just thought that was being cute for be quiet. But in the world of entertainment, it means never tell the secrets. Now our black people have adopted these rituals because they want to be like their counterparts. Yes, I said counterparts because this was never for us. We was already upright, righteous folks. We led the way, but now we're slipped because we want to be a part of this world called America's, and we want to be rich. To be rich, you have to believe in a dream. And once they can get you believe in a dream, man, it's all downhill. The book of the Apocrypha tells us dreams are for fools. But you can't wait to stand in line for the American Idol, X Factor, America Has Talent. It's all just hoorah. You had no idea that it's about really satanicism, signing your name in blood. And for the women, they use you so bad, you have no idea what they're going to do to you once you get behind the scenes. Wow. There's usually about 4 different stages before you're getting signed. Now, this is a beautiful sister, right? Usually, this is how you look when you first get signed. You look ecstatic, refreshing. At about a year, you turn into this. Your face starts to change because your soul is being sucked out of you. Now, you don't notice this at all because you're trying to keep up with them. You think it's their fashion style, but really it's what they endure when they sign with the industry. As they go on, and 1 year becomes 2 and 3 becomes 4, their soul is totally gone. When they look in the mirror, they can see things you don't see. They see demons, like Whitney Houston saw demons. But to the public, they look like this. And you notice every year they look more deranged. They look more hard. They look more spaced out. Look at Nicki Minaj. This fits her like a glove. You had no idea these transitions are what they're going through because they sold their soul. Who is this walking through the airport? None other than Prince Roger Nelson. Check out his earth sandals. My wife got the same pair. You can't tell me this man ain't a flaming sissy. Anyways, we need to explain why this man is doing a lot of tours overseas. You see, the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of righteous folks overseas, and in this tour, he's trying to hoodwink you. We'll explain. Well, when he goes overseas to tour, he brings the all-seeing eye. And what most folks don't understand, those lines that you see in the seeing eye, they're subliminal. They put you in spells. You ever came out of a concert and felt high and kind of have lightheaded? Well, you've been unsubliminal because the average person knows nothing about righteousness and they have no idea about the scriptures. So when you are empty and have no light, it's easy for spirits to take you over. Prince is a demonic Jehovah devil set up by design. What a lot of people don't understand is that Jimi Hendrix was extremely talented, but never gave in to the brotherhood, never signed his name in blood, nor did he accept the oath. Jimi just was a man who loved to play music. He signed with anybody who had a contract, something that his manager hated about him, and his manager also had him executed. You see, Jimi did not accept the powers that be, so they put a tube down his throat and forced alcohol into his system, causing alcohol poisoning, making it look like he gurgitated off his own vomit when they killed him because he wouldn't accept the brotherhood. Laid his body on his side and put a bottle of wine next to it and said, well, he did it to himself. Some of his closest mentor who came to the funeral, as Miles Davis, knew the truth. Janis Joplin also knew the truth too. She also paid for her life because she was getting ready to expose why Jimi was killed. So they took her life. We'll explain her clip as it's coming up. You notice how they're carrying Jimi's coffin, or should we say casket, because Jimi wasn't part of the brotherhood. We're also going to explain as the film rolls, there's a different level of sacrifice. Whenever you see a casket on the shoulders of a man who's carrying you out, you will sacrifice to the brotherhood. We'll explain that as the film continues. Jimi Hendrix was a brother who just loved playing music. That was it. They killed him because he wouldn't accept the oath or the traditions of the brotherhood. And that's just the honest God truth. Jimi Hendrix was a brother who never accepted Satan's world. Janis Joplin was very close-knit friends with Jimi Hendrix. She also knew that Jimi did not take his own life as far as choking on vomit after drinking. She knew that Jimi was alcohol poisoned by his former manager, who did not like Jimi because Jimi had a bad habit of signing with anyone with a recording label, and he did not accept the oath. Janis was talking about this among fellow musicians whom she could not express enough to. Meanwhile, they would go behind her back and tell Jimi Hendrix's former manager what Janis was talking about. So Janis was getting prepared in 1970 for a concert in a hotel. As they went to check on her, the goons have already been in her room and gave her an overdose of heroin. Janis Joplin was getting ready to blow the whistle on Jimi Hendrix's death, and they could not have that, so they killed her. No one knew why someone wanted to kill Otis Redding. As his body lies slumped in the pier where the fishermen fish, they had to hook line his body out the water, as you see here. Otis was beaten to death because he and James Brown was getting ready to orchestrate a distribution deal for black music. It's the same thing Damon Dash did with Suge Knight, and they took the riches. Well, back in those days, this thing was unheard of, and still today. So they killed him. They beat him. Now you're probably asking yourself, why not James Brown too? Because they felt like James Brown would be more profitable. So they made James a deal. James accepted the oath. Otis Redding was a big man, so they couldn't come to him by themselves. They came with a few people. They caught him off guard, they beat him to death and threw him in the pier. James Brown lay motionless into the funeral because James knew why they took his friend's life. When they made James a deal, he did not back down, nor did he think about doing a distribution deal ever again. James took the oath, and he signed with the Brotherhood. Blood, that is. Meanwhile, Otis had his funeral. If you notice, they carried his casket by the waist, indicating that he was not of Brotherhood, nor did he sign his name in blood, nor was his life a sacrifice for anyone in the industry. But James Brown signed over his life to fulfill the legacy of the Brotherhood. Now, after James accepted the oath and accepted the Brotherhood, they let him rub elbows with none other than Al Sharpton. See, Al Sharpton gave in a long time ago. His job was to orchestrate to James about the BSing of the NAACP, the Black Caucus, so on and so forth. James Brown was shocked to hear the news, but nevertheless, James played the game and he played it well. Whenever there was an event of a rioting, of anything that was unjustified to blacks, they would call James to have a concert. So when you hear the song, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, you can only wonder, did he really mean it? Or was it a song to fulfill the Brotherhood, to calm and ease the minds of black folk? I'll let that ponder while you guys think about what was just said. So when you hear the song, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, do it do you justice? Did you really get it? Some of you had no idea why James made that record. Now, if it's sincere, that's a great thing. But the song was used to calm the black folks down. So was James, because he accepted the oath of the Brotherhood. Whenever they have a situation that when black folks were being slaughtered in the streets, they called trumpet players, musicians, Harry Belafonte, Stevie Wonder, and they still do that today. That's why our people look for idolaters to solve our problems. These are just men in sheep clothing. James was a bad musician. He was a bad man when it came to music and dancing, but that's about all. We're not here to downplay it. We're only here to tell you the truth, that James was here to dumbfound you with his music. He never told you the truth. He was part of the Brotherhood. After he saw his friend die brutally, James got with the program. And when he's had a change of heart, they started making mockery of him. They started saying he was drunk. They started saying he was on this, he was on that. And James and Michael both knew the truth, what they'd done. They talked about it quite often, getting out, but they knew they couldn't. You can only blood out once you accept the oath. But some type, some way, they believed they could tell the people what was going on. James was the first they took in out to make Michael get back into gear. But it didn't work. As James lay motionless, they called his friend, his mentor, who gave him the ropes to begin with, Al Sharpton. Why did they call Al Sharpton? Because they wanted Al Sharpton to fulfill the role of an usher who cares about a human life to black folk. But when Al Sharpton got the news why they wanted him really there, to show support for the Brotherhood, Al Sharpton didn't hesitate. Al Sharpton knows this game and he knows it well. He played it better than any football player. He sits next to the coffin with his hands in a pyramid, letting his Brotherhood know, I'm here with James, but I'm not about the black and proud. I'm only here to fulfill a legacy, to make our people feel comfortable. I totally understand my role. Isn't that something? A man that sits before you, who is your mentor, and actually is a devil in sheep clothing. This man meant James Brown no good from the moment he met him. He was just using James to prolong his own life. Godfather Saul, James Brown's son-in-law, Darren Chip Lamar, shot and killed. Why is that? You see, Darren knew the truth. He knew that his stepfather did not die of a cardiac arrest. James Brown was poisoned, and Darren was going to tell the truth. Investigators said that the shooter was waiting for Lamar, the neighborhood where Lamar lived in his gated community. When he drove up to park his car in the garage, he was confronted. An altercation of some sort took place. That's when the victim was shot multiple times, said police officer Eric Swartz. I think it was somebody that knew him, Swartz said. The witness said Lamar then got into a car and drove 4 miles to Northside Hospital, where he died. CBS 46 talked with Lamar in January 2007, only weeks after James Brown died Christmas Day 2006. Lamar said he felt his father-in-law's death was suspicious. There's not a bone in my body that believes my father-in-law died from congestive heart failure, Lamar said. Lamar questions Brown's death because there was no autopsy. That is genius, because the Illuminati, who are the music industry, Clive Davis and all the rest of them, but Clive Davis being the ringleader of black entertainment, gives orders to cover up everything. You understand? We'll talk more as we go along the way what Clive Davis is orchestrated. See, James Brown was taken out because he was getting tired. And as they get tired, they start telling. And they can't risk the fact that these celebrities will tell the truth on what they really do in the industry. Sam Cooke lie motionless, slumped over, in a cheap motel room. They tell you that Sam Cooke died because he was trying to chase a prostitute into the manager's office to get his money that he felt like she'd taken from him. That is all hogwash. Sam Cooke was killed for his publishings. They came to Sam Cooke on several occasions to make a deal with him, to try to get him the reason to accept the brotherhood and come on in like everyone else. Sam said, no, I'm my own man. I own my own publishing. Sam Cooke was beaten to death. His blood, if you look to the left shoulder, is really trickling with blood from his head. They took an angle shot to make it look like he died from a gunshot wound. He died from trauma to the head. Sam Cooke's head was totally open. This also can be found in the book of Etta James. Beaten to death by gangsters, because he wouldn't comply, much like Jimi Hendrix. But instead of giving him a drug overdose, they beat him down. The blood was dripping so bad it dripped all down his knee. Sam Cooke didn't comply with the powers that be. It was unheard of for a man to own his own publishings and own his own masters. So for this, Sam Cooke paid with his life. The beautiful thing is Sam Cooke was very spiritual. So let's hope the Most High have his soul asleep until judgment, because he never took the oath and he never sold his soul, nor did he write his name in blood. Sam Cooke is lying in there motionless so the people can see him in a glass casket. Sam Cooke's life was taken as an example of what they tell you you cannot do. They want to totally control you. They want to do everything to you and not for you. This is a lesson to be learned about the so-called industry. Luther Vandross, who was an exceptional singer, could sing anything. So why did he die so sudden? See, after Luther had a stroke, the industry felt like, hey, we have no more use for him. Remember what Chaka Khan said, you're worth more dead than alive. So the order went out. Now to prove to you that Luther was an order of an oath of brotherhood, we're going to show you his funeral casket as the slides continue. Luther Vandross sold out big time, wrote his name in blood. And isn't it interesting, at all funerals they call the same trumpet players, the same musicians, the Dionne Warwicks, the Stevie Wonders, the Alicia Keys, the Patti LaBelle's, all these people have signed their name in blood. Did you know that? These folks are so wicked, they put the W in wicked. Talking about Luther, to let us know that he was our blood sacrifice for the industry. Remember I told you earlier about the caskets? Whenever they put a casket on top of the shoulders and cross the hands like they do, this is a clear indication that his life was a sacrifice for the industry. There's levels of sacrificing. Luther didn't sacrifice for someone to go up in the industry. He was sacrificed for the purpose of the industry so they can make millions. And they did. From the moment he died, all his greatest hits started to sell. And everything he didn't put out on his own, they made masters of it. This is what it's about, the brotherhood. Pay close attention to the casket on the shoulders. Kurt Cobain was a very talented individual. You know, he changed the way rock music was played. The famous group Nirvana. But what a lot of people don't understand is that Kurt Cobain never took the plan of Satan. Now, he might have dealt with the oath, that means don't tell the secrets. But when Kurt Cobain got with Nirvana, they was just having fun. Kurt was a lot like Hendrix. He loved music. He loved playing music. But when he saw the politics of music and what he had to do in order to be a superstar, it put a sour taste in his mouth. Kurt Cobain spent a lot of his time in the studio just writing. Kurt really could care less about the politics and the powers that be. This didn't sit well with the executives. They wanted Kurt to get with the program. You see the guy in the back with the long hair? Well, this guy always wanted to be front man. He wanted Kurt to get with the program because he believed Nirvana could be bigger than life. But Kurt was moving at a turtle type of speed. Nevertheless, the guy to the right wanted a little bit more. He wanted Kurt to give in. Just play the game, man. Everybody else does it. This didn't sit well with Kurt. So nevertheless, they decided, hey, let's sacrifice Kurt. I can move up and you can move up. Who is the you? Believe it or not, Kurt Cobain's wife, her name is Courtney. She set Kurt up to be a blood sacrifice so she could get more movie deals and he could get his own band. Here's an illustration of the real picture of Kurt. This is how they found him, with a shotgun to the face and a letter by his side. If this doesn't look orchestrated, what does? Now, I'm not a forensic master, but come on, y'all. That just don't look right to me. The shotgun blew his total face off. This woman needed a blood sacrifice, and so did his drummer. They got tired of Kurt doing what he wanted to do and taking his time. So Courtney, his former wife, took aim and action at Kurt's life. They needed a blood sacrifice. They was told what to do. They gave him a knockout drug, and someone pulled the trigger. What was very interesting is that Courtney had some type of lettering in her backpack that never made it to the headlines of CNN, Fox, MSN, etc. What was it? It was a letter of alphabets. Now, why would you have this in your backpack? She was trying to record and study and mimic Kurt's handwriting. This never made it to the news, but it's making it to our news, right? She studied this man's handwriting for a few months until she mastered it so she could write the letter for Kurt. The handwriting that was found by Kurt's side was not Kurt Cobain, it was Courtney. And this letter she would read at all the concerts, all the press conferences to get sympathy. And it worked. She got her movie deals, she got paid, and she had become a household name. Meanwhile, Kurt looked like a suicidal freak. Never happened. This whole thing was orchestrated by his wife, Miss Blondie, Courtney. So whatever happened to the drummer? I mean, did he ever progress? You know, because he always wanted to be front man. And Courtney did not do this by herself. She got all her picture deals. Did he ever get his royalties? Did he ever get his big band? The answer is yes. The guy with the black hair, with the tats, have you ever heard of the group called Foo Fighters? That's his group. When Kurt Cobain passed, they gave him a band, and they became larger than life. They even bigger than Nirvana. So that was his dilemma. Get rid of Kurt so I can come up. And they planned and orchestrated that man's death. This is the way they do it in the industry.